everyone, welcome back to the Wellwood Homes Master Builder YouTube channel. My name is Trevor. This is Andrew. He is the man who is in charge at Wellwood Homes. And today we are talking about infill homes in Edmonton. Questions to ask your project manager before hiring them.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah.
Red Adair specialized in extinguishing and capping of oil well fires. And he said, if you think it's expensive to hire a professional to do the job, wait until you hire an amateur.
Yeah.
Hiring an amateur will cost you at least 3 times as much, in my estimation.
Yeah. If you're lucky.
If you're lucky, yeah. So the construction industry accounts for 7% of gross domestic product when considering its impact on all economic sectors, and it maintains and repairs nearly 2.7 trillion in assets, and that's from Build Force Canada.
Yeah, it's not a small industry.
Not a small industry. Building's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's all construction, not just residential construction, but still, it's a lot of money being put around just to build and construct and reconstruct things. Andrew, we're going to go through these questions. So question number 1, do you have prior experience with these types of projects? Why is it important? Why is it important to ask that?
Oh, because it seems in the last 7 or 8 years, project manager is a term that people put on everything.
Okay.
Anyone who's got a truck, it's, I'm a landscaper, and then if they've got room left over on their truck, they put project manager. I'm a drywaller / project manager, framer / project manager.
Okay.
It just seems to be a term that people put on there. Just, if we can get some more work doing project management, then yeah, sure, let's do project management. Not to say that these people aren't qualified, but if you're hiring a landscaper who's absolutely amazing at landscaping and it says project manager on his truck, he might not be the best person to manage your duplex with legal basement suites or your garden suite. Has he managed any of these before? What's his background? He might be amazing at managing landscape projects. He might be able to schedule your trees, your irrigation, your fencing, your paving. So he might be able to schedule all of that and manage that project perfect.
Yeah.
Is he the best person for your infill build? Probably not.
Yeah. You need at least some knowledge of building a home.
Same thing between residential and commercial. I've managed countless number of residential projects. I've worked on a couple commercial projects, not as a project manager in the trades. And I would never ever try to project manage a McDonald's or a gas station or a Tim Hortons or something like that. I'll drink the coffee, but I'm not going to manage the project. And that's just how it goes. And those people that I've worked with on the commercial side would have a nightmare of a time jumping into the residential world. So, get the right project manager for the right project.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So question number 2 you should ask your project manager before hiring is, do you have all the licensing and insurance and bonds?
Yes, and that's a very important question, and you're going to get stuck with this later on. So when they're going for new home warranty, so we're talking on this about project managing for residential.
Yeah.
If you're doing commercial or landscaping or something like that, this probably isn't going to be of any use to you, other than just sheer entertainment.
Yeah.
But for residential, you're going to have new home warranty, and they're going to want to know your licensing. They're going to want to know your experience. Even if you have the homeowner applying for new home warranty, they want to know who's managing the project. They want to know, is he licensed? Is he insured? If you're setting foot on the site, you need to be insured. They want to know your experience. So if you don't ask your project manager these questions up front, this is going to come out later, and you are can feel a little silly when the new home warranty company asks for all this information, and you ask your project manager, and your project manager comes back with, I don't really have any experience in this. I'm not licensed, but I have vehicle insurance. Your heart's going to drop a little bit thinking, this guy's managing my $500,000 project or $1 million project. So if you don't ask it, somebody else will.
That's right. So question number 3 that you should ask a project manager before hiring is, how do you manage scheduling?
Yeah, if a project manager has experience in the type of project that you're running, he should be able to spit out scheduling quick and relatively accurate. Obviously, weather's going to change, material availability, change orders, trade availability. All of that stuff's going to alter the build a little bit, but not that much. If you say, it's going to take, and obviously permitting, if you're saying it's going to take 3 weeks at the city for permitting and it comes back at 9 weeks, don't fault your project manager on the fact that the city's backlogged with permits.
Yeah.
But if they say it's going to be 2 weeks for framing, demo foundation are going to take 3 weeks, rough-ins are going to be 2 weeks. Like your project manager should be able to spit out a ballpark schedule off the top of his head.
Awesome.
His or her head. Yeah.
Now, the next question you should ask is, what is your estimated timeline? Why is that important to ask?
Same thing for scheduling. They should be able to spit this stuff out pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Like they should say, this is what we're looking at for time to build. This is, we want to get the house wrapped up by this stage. We need to have heat in it by this stage. It's going to depend on, obviously this will depend on weather. We might have to come back in the spring to do some of the outdoor stuff, like pour the driveway, front sidewalks, stuff like that. But they should be able to say, this is our schedule. This is what we're shooting for a timeline. Because if you're hiring a project manager, you're more than likely paying the trades. You're paying the costs. So that's when you're going to need to know schedule for build is going to affect schedule for payment of the trades.
Right.
So
very important.
Yeah.
So the next question you should ask is, how do you handle change orders and disputes? Why is that important, Andrew?
Let's see, because I haven't done a build yet. We haven't had change yet. So
changes happen.
Yeah. Let's see. Even back when I was framing, I don't think we've done custom build or first time build where we haven't had changes going on. People walk through, something looks different when you're walking through the house than on paper, or you're walking through going, I didn't think this is what it would look like, or I didn't think this, or can we change this? So you're going to have changes. You need to know how your project manager is going to deal with it. Do they need it in writing? Some people need it paid for in advance. Some builders just don't allow it. There is no change orders. This is the house that we've signed off on print. You signed off on all of your selections for color, fixtures, finishes, everything like that, and we're building it. So you're SOL.
Yeah, and you should know beforehand what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Or you could be sad afterwards.
Yeah, don't go with a builder that won't allow changes unless you're buying in a cookie cutter box.
Yeah, unless you're buying a cookie cutter build and you don't have any options.
You're probably never going to meet your project manager anyways. Then, if you're buying one of those, you're going to meet the salesperson.
He's going to be the drive-by project manager.
Yeah.
All right. So next question is that you should ask any project manager before hiring is, how much of a down payment do you require?
Yes, and most, if not all, project managers will require a down payment because it is a lot of work to quote a project, schedule a project, work on all the permitting, getting the blueprints, engineering, everything like that. It's a lot of work to get the project off the ground. It's a lot of work to get it all, get the packages all put together, get everything in for permitting. After you've got everything estimated, all of your quoting, all of your scope of work done, everything like that, that's a large portion of the work that's done before a shovel even hits the ground. So yes, a project manager is going to want to be paid for all of that work. They're not going to put a permit together, give you a cost to build a custom home, down to the penny, all put together, to have you turn around and go, I think we're going to go with a different builder.
Exactly.
They'll spit together some rough numbers, but if you want them to go through all of the blueprinting, permitting, engineering, and estimating stage, they're going to want some money down.
For sure. And it just makes sense.
Yeah.
The last question you should ask a project manager before hiring is, when do you want to be involved? Before blueprint, land purchase, when do you want to be involved?
Yeah, and some project managers are fine taking over from foundation. Some are fine from demoing. Some don't want to or know anything about the permitting process, and they want you to come at them with lot, blueprint, and development, building permit, demo permit, everything all taken care of, and they're going to manage it from there on. Some of them want you to find all the trades. Some of them want to be in from the very first second you think you're going to build a house. So, and you're going to pay for the involvement of the project manager. If you want them in there at the blueprint stage, helping to select lot purchases and stuff like that, then you're going to, usually pay a little bit more. Personally, I like to be involved right from the start. Mm-hmm. I like to know what they're buying for land, what they want, what they're going to do for a blueprint, because I like to have my own little input on the blueprints. Yeah. And it's a lot easier to have your input on the blueprint as a project manager when the homeowner themselves still hasn't finalized the blueprints, because then they can bring it to you and say, you know what, this is what we're starting with, but we're thinking about moving this wall, we're thinking about doing this, and then I can look through and go, yeah, well, we're going to need something for mechanical. We're going to need a wall for mechanical to run through. Looking at your joist layout, did you realize that this yellow line across means a dropped beam, which means you're going to have a bulkhead running through your kitchen? Some are fine with it. We're going to hide it. We're going to build it out. We'll put lights in it. We'll build it in as part of the coffered ceiling. And other people are like, no, I specifically said I didn't want dropped beams. Well, that's what that line means. That means you're going to have the beam. And if we get to it after we're either changing joist layout, which means we're changing costs, which means we're resubmitting into the city, and then the city always has fees or charges or buy-offs that they want for that. And then, looking at the joist layout, you can look at it, you can see beams going around all four sides going, you know what, we have no way to get plumbing here. You've got a bathroom above, so we can't have this. It's got to drop in. So there's a lot of things to the blueprint that you want to know before you start building, so that you might have to change a wall from a 2x4 wall to a 2x6 wall to allow for plumbing to go through, and you might have some stuff like that your project manager won't catch. It'll come up at the build, but a lot of that stuff can be caught ahead of time. Yeah. And if you're going back to the designer to change room sizes or door locations or window locations or stuff like that, then that's the perfect time to make those kind of changes.
Great. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Andrew. It's been very informative as usual. Yeah. And if you guys are looking for a builder that you need to help you with your infill build or with a revenue property, you can definitely call Andrew at wellwoodhomesmasterbuilder.com, and he'll be glad to sit down with you and go over your project, and maybe you guys can start working together. Yeah. That's the deal. Sounds good. Thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next video.